I am Mohammad Hasan. Let me state at the outset what I cannot express in prose, I say in verse with ease that liberates me. I am nobody. Distraught wife quietly stands beside him. The husband hands folded veils before policeman demanding his home address and the reasons for vagrancy. Sir, I was born posthumously. Mother could not tell who my father was. She died while I was still suckling. The winds of hunger and uncertainty wafted me like a leaf fallen to unknown places. Their locations I know nothing about except that they were barren or green, hostile or kind with generosity. I do remember a little girl somewhere dancing around a Christmas tree. She gave me a loaf of bread, honey dipped. I remember how at me the angel smiled. I cannot forget also that old woman who gave me a warm blanket and a hot cup of tea on a cold night. I don't know whether she was a Muslim, Hindu, Jew, Christian or atheist, but she was a kind human being. I don't want to remember who rebuked and thrashed me, mistaking me for thieving while I searched for humble earning. I remember faintly where there were people, there were clusters of huts surrounded by miseries, or tall building islands of luxuries guarded day and night by men, khaki or army fatigue. I have no paper proving my place of origin. When I returned, I found my hut was missing. I don't know whether it was a storm, earthquake or a river in anger that swallowed it, or that tall building mocking me. I am nobody. Cold worries. Children happily settled overseas were yesterday's glorious stories. Green cards, citizenship of Western countries were their hard-won victories. After a long haul of nautical miles, changing several international flights, she arrives home, towels squeezed, with high fever, cough and violent squeeze. Airport emergency medic staff cart her to an isolation ward for COVID-19 critical testing. Like in war theaters, while biochemists struggle to track down the potency of the new enemy, the immigration desk frantically checks who handled her luggage, who stamped her passport, who gave her food and water, who did ticket handling.
Have you ever wondered if numbers can ever be lonely? In fact, they can. In 2014, I wrote a poem called The Lonely Prime, which is about a prime number which is yet to be discovered. If you think about it a little, in fact, the prime numbers, except for the pair 2 and 3, are essentially lonely because no two prime numbers sit next to each other on the number line. Hi. I'm Sudarshan Shidore, and in my book, All the Lonely People, which is a collection of 12 short stories, I have looked at the lives of ordinary, often lonely people. People who you see on the street and probably don't give a second glance. These stories are about their struggles, their triumphs, and their moments of truth. Some people might say, a mathematician turning an author? Well, if you think about it a little, there are similarities between the two. Mathematics and literature are both essentially the search for truth. And, much like in literature, there is ambiguity, complexity, even absurdity in mathematics. This excerpt is from the story Cats in the Cradle. At first, he used to amuse himself by listening to the little transistor radio. But even that became depressing after a while. The news was mostly about the pandemic and what the Prime Minister and opposition had said that day. The folk songs and film songs were good, but what good was music if you couldn't talk about it to someone? He craved a human voice, a human touch, someone he could talk to, and someone who would listen to him with unflinching admiration and attention. And the meme sahibs weren't helping either. They seemed to have become more taciturn than usual and had stopped their daily call-outs. It was a lonely existence with no end in sight. This excerpt is from the story Love in Black and White. Seeing Lakshmi this afternoon had been a jolt though for Hemant. These were the days of quiet afternoon naps and walks in the early morning sun, reading newspapers and watching old films on TV, in the drawing room when everyone else had gone to bed, of bottles and potions and pills with promises of cure. But most of all, these were the days of waiting for death without asking for it or even thinking too much about it. And now, Lakshmi. All the Lonely People is published by Readomania and it's out in the stores. I would like to thank the JLF team and of course, I would like to thank all of you for watching this video. Stay safe and I hope to see you soon.